But for AI to fulfill its potential, it has to start with trust.
Please welcome Corporate Vice President, Microsoft Security, Vasu Jakkal.
Wow. Well, good morning, everyone. How are you all doing? Well, first of all, it's absolutely brilliant just being here with you all, this amazing community. And it's such an honor to be invited and follow the amazing, incredible, magical Jeff Teper. We all love and adore him. We just want to be Jeff. And I'm so grateful that we're talking about security because it is critical and it's a catalyst for innovation. Now, innovation and human ingenuity have shaped our world since the very beginning. Whether it was the steam engine or electricity, or it was the light bulb or computers or internet or mobile phones, it's changed our world. And today, it's all about AI. Perhaps the most consequential technology in our lifetimes, or maybe even in our history. And we get to shape it, to create it, and to use it. And AI, with agentic capabilities, as you've heard from Jeff and Nicole and others, is transforming our life in very intimate ways, helping us navigate our day-to-day. And it's transforming us in very big, world-changing ways. I'm sure many of you, like me, have had a loved one get diagnosed of cancer, and our life changes in that split second. But imagine if AI can find that diagnosis earlier and with accuracy. What does that mean? Or in transportation, if we can find safe, connected, green technology. Or in education, I have 3 kids, and I know that I could use a patient tutor with them. I certainly am not one. But more importantly, the millions of children around the world who do not have basic access to education. What would that mean? And right here in cybersecurity, the place I live and breathe every single day, how can it get transformed? But for AI to fulfill its potential and this promise it holds, it has to start with trust. Because without trust, we will not use this technology, which has this capability to reinvent us. And trust starts with security, and rightfully so. Today, we are facing unprecedented times, complicated times. We live in an unprecedented threat landscape. I joined Microsoft 5 years back, and we were tracking how many attacks our world faces. It started with 579 password attacks per second. Last year, it was 4,000 password attacks per second. This year, it is 7,000 password attacks per second. We all love math. That's 600 million attacks a day. Imagine. And the amount of time it takes an attacker to get access to data once, say, a user clicks on a phishing link is on average 72 minutes, coming down. And the number of attackers is increasing. Microsoft Threat Intelligence was tracking 300 threat actors last year, 100 before that, and now it's 1,500 unique nation-state and financial crime actors. Cybercrime is costing our world $9.2 trillion a year. Imagine. If it was a country, it would be the 3rd largest GDP in the world and the fastest growing GDP. That's what we're facing. And in addition to that, this thing called data security has come at the forefront. What does AI need? AI needs data. What is the challenge? Data oversharing, data leakage. 83% of the organizations we speak to have had a data breach at least once in their lifetimes. 20% of the data breaches are due to insiders. Sometimes intentional, sometimes unintentional. And as we all adopt AI, 80% plus risk leaders, people who are responsible for security in our orgs, say data security is the #1 challenge they're facing and inhibiting them from really embracing AI. And if that was not enough, we also have tremendous complexity as security organizations. On average, there are 40 or more tools that organizations use. That's pretty fragmented, made worse by the fact that we actually do not have security talent. We have a security talent deficit. There are more than 4 million jobs, I think the last number I saw was 4.6 million, that are unfulfilled in cybersecurity today. And then we have regulations. 250 regulatory updates every single day. On a good day, it's hard to keep up with regulations. Imagine, given the challenges we have right now, how do we keep up? How do we understand them, let alone comply? And just like we are going to use generative AI to reinvent ourselves, to be amazing, so are the bad actors. In fact, we know that since the beginning of time, as inventors were busy inventing, there were always those with malicious intent who were seeking to exploit that very technology. These threat actors are already using AI to become more productive, to do things like recon, get information quickly. And there are many different types of attacks they can launch. Remember that password attacks number? They can get better at cracking your passwords. So I'm really hoping this community has embraced passwordless. Or phishing, which is a big threat vector right now. Social engineering, the very thing that makes us human, our curiosity, our vulnerability. Deepfakes, malware proliferation, malware variants, I can go on. The net is it's going to be used by bad actors for malicious reasons. And we have to think about new attack surface. What an attack surface is, it's a way in which which threat actors can exploit, like your devices or your web or your networks. Now with AI, you have prompts and LLM models and AI-related data, and all of those become attack surfaces. We have to think about it comprehensively, but most importantly, security must come above all else. And this is why, at Microsoft, as Jeff said earlier, security is the #1 priority. Our CEO, Satya Nadella, sent a memo last year, May 2024, underscoring this. We launched the Secure Future Initiative in November 2023 as we were going mainstream in the age of AI. And we doubled down last year on it. The Secure Future Initiative is about ensuring that we are thinking about security first. And we have security by default, by design, and secure operations. It has more than the equivalent of 34,000 engineers working on it. Probably the largest cybersecurity initiative in the industry. It has 6 engineering pillars with leaders across age, from protecting identities, to networks, to engineering systems, to your production systems, to making sure we're accelerating response and remediation, and monitoring and detecting threats. But the most important thing about the Secure Future Initiative is it's a cultural transformation. If you ask any of your Microsoft colleagues, they will tell you that security is now a core priority for every single person, no matter who you are. HR, finance, collab team, security teams, it's a core priority. Incentives are tied to it. We have skilling academies that we have developed. And we've put governance in place, 14 deputy CISOs, who every single day are in the weeds on how we're doing security. We update our CEO every 2 weeks, send a report every week, and we have a board review every quarter, which starts with security. But what's exciting about the Secure Future initiative is that it's turbocharging this flywheel of defense, this innovation flywheel. The more we invest in SFI, the more insights we get. Remember that threat intelligence. Today, Microsoft processes 84 trillion signals, by far the largest number of signals of anyone in the industry. And we use these 84 trillion signals to get better detections, what we call TTPs, techniques, tactics, and procedures. Who are the threat actors? What are they up to? What are they doing? What does insider risk look like? What are they accessing? All of this, the who, the what, the why, the how. And that helps us build amazing products for securing you and ourselves. And the more products we have, the more secure we are, the more we adopt technology, and the flywheel goes on. As a result of this flywheel, we've turbocharged our innovation and we are building an AI-first end-to-end platform for security. This platform, with the 6 product families, is helping, first of all, protect Microsoft. We're securing 1.5 million endpoints. We're securing 720K SharePoint sites, and we consume 225 terabytes of data every week to protect Microsoft. But most importantly, we're using it to protect you and your AI transformation. We have 6 product families. First, for the external threats, remember that threat landscape I was sharing with you all? We have Defender, which is our threat protection or extended detection and response family. It protects your endpoints and your identities and your networks and your cloud, your apps, and it goes hand in hand with Sentinel, which is our security platform, helping you really get this data, understand it, make sure that you're connecting with the third-party ecosystem. Then we have Purview, which is our data security, governance, compliance, and privacy family. Probably one of the most important families for this M365 community, because it is our data security family. If you need to know where to start with Purview. We have Entra and Intune, identity and access. Identity is the battleground of security. So it's critical, and especially as we embrace agents, all of these agents are going to have their own identities. Defender, Sentinel, Entra, Intune, and Purview come together to form one cohesive platform. And then we have Security CoPilot, which is integrated into all of this and helping you defend at machine speed and scale. Now, as we build this platform, there are 2 critical things that we need to take into consideration. We all. And they're deeply interconnected. The first one is security for AI. How do we make sure that we're securing AI from the get-go? The first line of code we write, the data that we need, the models that we are building. But how do we also make sure that we're securing AI all around all the time? And then the second one is how do we use all these amazing superpowers of generative AI for security? So let's start first with security for AI. And I'm going to invite my awesome colleague and friend, Scott Woodgate, to show you what we're doing here.
Thank you. Thank you. The big question before all of us is how we should be thinking differently about security in the age of AI. With AI adoption happening just so rapidly and various investments across copilots, AI agents, and even custom AI, many new questions arise from a security and compliance perspective. Those include, what AI applications are our employees using? Are they feeding sensitive data into public generative AI applications? That's, of course, known as data oversharing. Now, if you've deployed your own AI, you're asking the question of whether your AI is disclosing sensitive information to the wrong person. That's known as data leakage. Another set of questions is related to external versus internal threats. Where will my AI be the most vulnerable? What are new ways that that AI can be compromised? One example of this is a new class of attacks that you may have heard of called jailbreaks or prompt injections, where the AI is actually tricked into disclosing something it shouldn't. And the next set of questions are all about emerging AI regulations and compliance. What new regulations am I subject to with the deployment of my AI? Did you know that in the last year alone, there have been 100 new AI regulations passed around the world, with the most recent being the EU AI Act? The CoPilot control system is a set of tools designed for IT professionals to better understand and manage AI within your organization. Jeff mentioned this earlier, and I want to talk to this in a little bit more depth. It's comprised of 3 pillars. The first is security and governance. Now, of course, fundamentally, your data is secure because it's located within Microsoft's security trust boundary. But there's more to this with Defender and Purview, and we'll get to that in just a minute. Secondly, there's management controls. You know, this AI is amazing, and it's enabling people to do incredible things, boosting productivity of employees, improving your customer experiences. But you really need controls to manage the AI sprawl within your company, ensuring the right people have access to the right tools and, of course, use them as intended. And third is measurement and reporting. This helps you understand and track usage, adoption, and you can even look at the business value and impact of CoPilot and agents with something we call CoPilot Analytics. So as we move forward, let's drill now into more of the security and governance pieces. And here, Purview and Defender offer the complete solution for you to secure and govern CoPilot, including scenarios such as protecting from data oversharing or against shadow AI and insider risk, protecting against AI vulnerabilities, supporting the full life cycle from a policy perspective for compliance, as well as helping you detect non-compliant or non-ethical usage, and of course, staying up to date with the latest regulations. But rather than me sharing slides, let's actually run through a demo and show you what that looks like for real. So I'm going to show you here how you can check the security posture of this Contoso Outdoors app to make sure it isn't sharing data and is compliant. Now in Purview, if I go over to the data assessment report, I can look at over-assessment information, and you can see sensitive data in different SharePoint and OneDrive sites for Contoso Outdoors, what's labeled, what isn't, and where I can add labels. And if I go then and click into this Teams Engineering SharePoint, we can see a large number of sensitive files, and we can either restrict the whole site or just label different files to be processed by CoPilot. So now let's look at what controls look like from a user perspective. I'm a nosy user. You can see I'm looking for the sales figure. And of course, because CoPilot respects those Purview labels, it does not provide me with that information because I don't have access. Next up, let's go look at a jailbreak. And so how do I secure an application in a jailbreak? And so I'm going to run this jailbreak against the Contoso application. And when I run this jailbreak, you'll see what happens. You can see a long jailbreak script here. Someone's having some fun with my application, which isn't good. And when I run that, of course, Prompt Shield protects against that attack, so all good. But from a security perspective, my operations team needs to know, is this me doing a demo in front of thousands of my best friends, or is this actually a real attack? So let's go now drill into Defender and see what's going on. And you can see the incident has been raised inside Defender because of the jailbreak attack. We can understand the timeline of that attack, what assets are involved. We can see Defender receiving signals from tools like Entra and Intune to build a picture of the attack. And at the same time, CoPilot is off there on the right-hand side, providing additional enrichment, threat intel, and even an incident summary. Okay, so to close this out, finally I want to tell you about AI compliance. Now, compliance is hard at the best of times, and as AI compliance regulations are new, it's great to get some guidance to adhere to them. And of course, Compliance Manager in Purview is specifically for this. A lot of people do business in the EU, and with that EU Act that I mentioned, the EU AI Act that came out in 2024, I want to know if my application is compliant with it. Well, it looks like it is compliant, but as you can see there, it's only 58% compliant. I know I can do better. And you can see a detailed set of recommendations out there on the right-hand side on how I can address that and make my app even more compliant. So what you've seen here is how we can help Contoso, and of course, how we can help you, implementing layers of controls for AI deployment to prevent oversharing, protect against attacks, and be compliant with regulations, uplifting your overall security and compliance for your environment. And now I want to move from Defender and Purview into more of the fundamentals of Microsoft 365 CoPilot and Microsoft 365 itself. And to get to this foundational management technology, I'm delighted to invite Sesha on stage. Thank you.
Thank you, Scott. Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone. Okay, that's better. That's better. I am super excited to be here to share with you the latest innovations in Microsoft 365 security and administration. How many of you here are Microsoft 365 admins, be it SharePoint, Teams, Exchange? Oh, wow, quite a lot. You are going to love this segment. As your organization's Microsoft 365 footprint grows exponentially in this AI era, you need a bird's eye view of what are the topmost sites or teams or Exchange mailboxes that need your attention. How CoPilot and agent deployment has been progressing in your organization. CoPilot's native governance capabilities, powered by SharePoint Advanced Management, offers just that. Today, I'm going to share with you our latest innovations on three main areas. How we are helping you to prepare for CoPilot, scaling agents deployments, and finally, the one you all have been waiting for, CoPilot for Microsoft 365 admins. So let's start with preparing for CoPilot. You know, it all comes down to permissions and visibility. How well have you been managing your permissions and visibility of your Microsoft 365 content throughout the life cycle of your organization? Let's take permissions, for example, right? A typical canonical scenario is you want to roll out CoPilot to a set of users, and you want to know permissions graph all those users. Well, today we are thrilled to announce Permission State Report. Let's see how it helps you to achieve that scenario. So here I am in the SharePoint Admin Center, Data Access Governance Portals, which offers me a comprehensive list of reports spanning from sharing links report to highly permissioned sites report. And we are adding a new report today to this, Permission State Report for specific users and security groups. Let's go ahead and create the report. All I have to do is select SharePoint sites as my source, and then I select Mona Kane and Contoso IT Group as the security principal for which I need the permissions graph. Now the engine is going to scan through all your sites, be it thousands, 10,000s, or millions of sites, and then create a report giving you a panoramic view of all the sites where Mona Kane and IT Group are permissioned for. Everything looks okay to me except Contoso Marketing and Finance side. I want to double check with the site owner. So I can create an access review, send a request to the site owners. Here is the email that site owners will receive, and with simple click the button, they will see all the items that are permissioned for Mona Kane and IT Group, be it Office files, PDFs, folders, lists, and items that have broken inheritance from site permissions as well, by the way. And they can manage access right here, and they can confirm back to the SharePoint admin. So with few clicks, permissions management is taken care. You no longer need a PhD in SharePoint administration to manage permissions, folks. Next up is content visibility. Let's take the scenario where a user goes to CoPilot and asks the question, are there organizational changes coming up next month? Oops, there are results shown here in the CoPilot that is not supposed to be shown. But no worries. You can go to the sites management in SharePoint Admin Center, select that particular site, in this case, Contoso HR, and with one click, you can now enable our new restricted content discovery policy, which will exclude that site content from CoPilot's view. Let's go back to the CoPilot, and you can see here before and after that policy is enforced. We are helping you to roll out CoPilot in a more secure and safe fashion as well. Now, not only from the CoPilot's view, with this policy, you can now exclude sites from agent's view as well. That's a good segue into my next demo set, which is helping you to scale agents deployments. Agents are everywhere. They are infused in our every moment in our life. But there is one question I'm sure all of you have Microsoft 365 admins in mind: agent governance. Which agents are installed in my Microsoft 365 tenant? Who are the users who are installing and building these agents? Where in Microsoft 365 all these agents are getting instantiated? All valid questions. And we have an answer. Today, we are thrilled to share with you agent management experience as part of CoPilot control system. It offers you both breadth and depth view of agent insights. Curious to take a look? Yeah? All right. Let's take a look. Here I am in the Microsoft 365 Admin Center. We are introducing a new node, CoPilot, for all things, single-stop shop for all things managing CoPilot. I can go to agent settings and control who can install agents. If you are like me, a detail-oriented person, want to see all the agents, go to agent inventory. It will show you the total number of agents, and also across those agents, a detailed view of who is installing, install count, and which apps they are instantiated. Some agents are not for everyone. For example, here the Contoso GPT agent is meant for finance department and its users, and you can limit that too. And finally, wondering about usage of agents? You can go to reports. Under usage for agents, you can see the detailed usage stats for agents as well. All these updates are rolling out right now, and go check out the Microsoft 365 admin centers near you in the next few weeks. Like it? But we are not stopping there. Let's look at the depth view of agent insights. So here I am in the agent insights right in SharePoint Admin Center. I can click on agent access, and it will give me a monthly report of sites that have agent traffic. For example, April 2025, it gives me a report of all the sites that have agent traffic. Contoso Finance has 10 agents, and it gives me a detailed view of all those 10 agents with the highest traffic and who created them, all the details. Even better, you can now select the site if it is accidentally shared with agents with one click. You can enable the restricted content discovery policy so that all those 10 agents are blocked access to that particular site content. When you are ready, you can then open up the access right after that. Yeah? Finally, I have one last segment demo to show you. This is the final demo of my segment, so let's finish it strong, shall we? With the power of CoPilot, we are taking the Microsoft 365 administration to a whole new level. For those IT admins, sometimes it's chaotic. More open browser tabs than you can count, incidents and alerts popping up all the time. But CoPilot for admins is different. It helps you simplify and focus, manage your core and specialized admin tasks at scale and in natural language. Let's take a look. So here I am in the Microsoft 365 Admin Center, clicking the CoPilot icon. My day just started, so I want to catch up on the latest in my tenant. So I click Recap. It provides me a summarized view across Service Health, Message Center, Experience Insights, and Group Insights. Now, this summarized view is personalized for me, my admin role, and the admin places that I visit the most, and my tenant information. As the day progresses by, I got the notification from Beth that a priority account is having difficulty joining meetings. I then turned to CoPilot. I asked it, where do I configure Teams meeting policies? And rightfully, it points me to the Teams Admin Center. And here, when the Action tab pops up, I click on it, and it opens up the specific page where I can configure the Teams meeting policies. Now, there are two things to note here. One, CoPilot chat history travels with me, regardless of whichever admin center I'm going. Second, CoPilot is personalized for the admin center. So for example, here I am in the Teams Admin Center meeting policies page. A contextual prompt troubleshooting meeting join pops up. I can click on it. I can provide the necessary user information, and voila, CoPilot gets to work. It analyzes all the team meeting policies I have in my organization, finds out the root cause, and then provides me a resolution as well. Now you may wonder, well, Sesha, can it help me with troubleshooting call quality issues? Of course, yes. Can it help me with sophisticated sites management? Any guesses? Of course, yes. Here is the SharePoint Admin Center. I ask the question, find the sites that are potentially over-permissioned. Then it finds out that content assessment report is ready with 38,253 sites over-permissioned. And then I ask the question, delete overexposed sites in my tenant. CoPilot is always awake and diligent. It tells me, hey, it's a high-risk action. You better do it manually yourself. And then I asked it, OK, can you find sites that are semantically matching to these over-permissioned sites? It then invoked our latest AI-powered site matching capability. And voila, I will get a list of sites that are matching those corresponding over-permission sites, including the similarity score. It's a groundbreaking moment in our industry. With CoPilot for admins, you can do in minutes what used to take all day. Like it? So that was a whirlwind tour of all the latest innovations in Microsoft 365 security and administration. I hope you all are as excited as I am with these capabilities, and I can't wait to see what you build with these new capabilities. Thank you for your time, and let's bring back Vasu again.
Thank you, Sesha. You are such a rock star. Well, give it up for Sesha once more, everyone. Awesome. Well, as you heard from Sesha and you heard from Scott, we have so many tools to help you for securing your AI, right from the native capabilities in SharePoint Advanced Management, as well as our advanced security tool. And more importantly, we are using CoPilot for admins and other capabilities to advance that. Now, talking about using AI for security, let's move on to see how we can use this incredible superpower to do more. The reality is, security is probably one of the best use cases, if not the most serious use case for generative AI. And we started this journey of using AI in security 2 years back. And last year, we launched Security CoPilot. We made it generally available to help you across your portfolio, from data to devices to identities across M365, so that you can use it and you can get more efficient. And we've seen some amazing gains. Early in professional security defenders are 26% faster and 35% more accurate using Security CoPilot. Advanced defenders are 22% faster and 7% more accurate using it. And just a few weeks back, we announced the next frontier of innovation with Security CoPilot agents. Our first 11 agents are tackling some of the most pressing things that you're facing today. Let's take phishing as an example. Did you know last year there were 30 billion phishing alerts that were generated? That's crazy. We can't keep up with these volumes. So the phishing agent now can help you manage that volume and help your teams understand what's true and what's false. Or the identity conditional access agent, which helps you apply the right access to the right people at the right time so that they can get the right app and the right data. Or the data security and insider risk agents, which can help you navigate this plethora of insider risk alerts we're getting. But the coolest thing about our agents is that 5 out of the 11 were developed by the community. Thank you. Yes, they were developed by you all, our partners. And we are so excited about that. So let's take a look at what these agents are doing. And I'm going to invite Scott Woodgate back again to give you a deeper look.
All right. So let's look at that in more detail. Unless you're in the SOC team or the security operations team, you probably don't know how much time I waste as a security engineer triaging alerts from users that have submitted emails they believe are phishing, but are actually spam or bulk and are not interesting to me. I waste hours every day reclassifying these mails to find a very small number of real threats. But today is not one of those days. I have the new Defender phishing agent that handles phishing triage for me automatically. See it working my queue and relabeling all of those emails. And let's have a look at what my queue looks like when it's done. Oh, so much better. Now I can focus on real fish and real effective work thanks to this incredible agent. And if I actually drill into one of these incidents, I can go ahead and get context from that agent. So the CoPilot guided response has the recommended triage agent actions in it already, and that agent will detail and explain the thought process that it went through and all of the steps in order to arrive at its final conclusion. In this case, it thinks it's a true positive. And so as an analyst, I can drill into the details. I can view, as you can see, the workflow branches to understand how it got there. And I can also inspect that email, which you can see over there, that it classified as phishing. Now, phishing attacks are often done in the guise of a training mail. It's a training mail from an external vendor, but it's actually a phishing link. However, in this case, this is actually a real training mail for my organization. And so I want to update this agent to turn this from true to false. And that's one of the amazing things about agents. You can provide them feedback, change the verdict, and then help the agent as it learns about your organizational context for the future and applies this moving further forward. So with this new email phishing agent, as a SOC person, I can spend so much more time on what's important, protecting my organization, and far less time on managing stuff in my queue. This is really exciting progress. But I'm not done yet. I want to share another really exciting agent here. How many of you in security have ever asked by actually any person at your company, but particularly your management, hey, I just read about this latest threat in the news, and are we safe from that? I mean, all of us have, right? And you want to be proactive with that. And so let me show you how you can do that. We have a new TI briefing agent that uses generative AI to build daily reports of threats that are out there that's hyper-focused on my organization and my industry. And so right away I can see over here the list of those threats, including, in this case, a bunch of vulnerabilities, but also a threat actor called Storm 485. You can see it second from the top there. And I'm curious if I am now in a challenging place with this threat actor. Have I been attacked? Well, it's as easy as this. Go ahead and click on that URL. It provides more details from Microsoft's threat intelligence, and then we can drill into, do we have any active incidents? And in this case, unfortunately, I do. So I better take care of that right away. So I drill into that incident inside Defender. Defender makes investigating this attack super easy. To simplify this attack, two things happened. One, a user was phished over email, but luckily Defender understood that and automatically disrupted that action. So I don't need to do anything. It's already taken care of. However, another email was phished over Teams, and this was successful. It's super common for attackers to phish over both email and Teams. And so, you know, as a SOC analyst, I now do my thing and go ahead and remediate this issue to defend against the attack. But before I finish, I just want to highlight one more thing, because of course I do want to make sure that my organization is protected against future attacks from threat actors using similar techniques. So as you can see here, I headed over to the recommended actions. I can see a list of actions, and one I clearly need to do is strengthen my team's security. Luckily, last month, Defender added new Teams support for protecting Teams users, for blocking malicious URLs, enabling users to report suspicious team messages, and even conducting phishing simulations to train users into not clicking on the wrong things. And so obviously I should go turn this on, and everyone in the audience should do the same if you own Defender, to go protect from this in the future. So what you've seen here are just two examples of agents that really help the security operations team be more effective and protect more. And we're just getting started with agents. So with myself and with Sesha and with Vasu, you've seen us talk about AI for security and security for AI. But you can't have AI for security and security for AI without having a secure foundation. And that secure foundation is, of course, Windows. And so I am absolutely delighted to invite on stage Jeremy Chapman, who, of course, is the superhero of Microsoft mechanics and a colleague I've worked with for many, many years, starting in Windows. Jeremy, welcome on stage.
Thank you, Scott. Good morning, everybody. Come on. All right, so you might have seen me in a few videos before, and these are my 3 favorite topics this week: Microsoft 365, security, and Windows. I bet a lot of you didn't know I was in the Windows team for a long time before I moved to Microsoft 365. And I'm going to talk about a couple of things here with Windows 365 and cloud endpoints and some things that you can't really do in terms of what you do on a physical machine. So Windows 365, is it an upgrade from a local install? What are some things that I can do that I can't do on a local running install of Windows? When we think about security, you're talking about defending kind of the attack surface, hardening that layer. Also making sure that you have continuous verification that's happening as you use your machine. And where I think what sets Windows 365 apart is if something does happen, if you have ransomware, if you have a boot critical driver, any of those things that happen, you can restore from something bad that does happen. And I'm going to prove all of that today in the next 10 minutes. All right, so first off, with Windows 365, it's always online. So I'll go ahead and connect to it. I can use the Windows app. What that means is that anything that you're going to do in terms of device security, shipping patches to those devices, security fixes, new applications, all of these things, they're always connected. They're always reachable. It's not going to be in your desk drawer somewhere while you're on vacation, and then you're going to be susceptible to a 0-day or something later. This is always going to be patched and always going to be ready. And you can see here, I'm using my actual corporate device for Cloud PC. I'm actually using my corporate device as well in terms of my phone here as well. And so everything here is secure, everything's locked down. You see with Windows 11, we have also things like native passkey support. We have things like the ability to do cross-device passkey as well. It's a lot of great security capabilities there. So I've got 2 devices on stage. I've got a Surface Laptop 7 that's a CoPilot Plus PC in this nice blue color. And I've got my phone here, which is an Android Google Pixel Fold. So of these 2 different devices, which one of them do you think is my managed device? Is it my Surface Laptop? Anyone? No one's voting. I already gave away the answer, didn't I? Okay, and I've got my phone, which is my managed device. Okay, so one of the things that we can do now with Windows 365 is the ability to have adaptive protection. We can use conditional access with it to say, I want to be able to do more things on a managed and known trusted device than I can do on an untrusted and unmanaged device. So here in my case, my phone is managed, so I'll go ahead and I'll connect to Windows 365 and using the Windows app. The Windows app will run, by the way, on Android, iOS, Mac OS, Windows, and of course, you can run it from the browser. So when I connect to my cloud PC, it's going to actually make that connection to the same desktop that I was just on from my Surface Laptop up here. And now I'm able to connect to the exact same environment with all of my apps, everything running. Because this is an Android device too, I can set it up with an external monitor. I can set it up with a Bluetooth mouse and keyboard. I'm fully productive with all my apps and services. And I'm network connected to all of my secure resources. So now in this case, what I want to show is I've got some confidential files here. And I'm going to go ahead and copy all of these files. And now I want to basically move those to the local disk, the local SSD on the device. Now in this case, on this phone here, the Android phone, because it is managed and trusted, I can actually move these files to the local storage account on this Pixel Fold. So I'll go ahead and open the DCIM folder, which if you're using Android, you'll know that's the normal folder for it. And then I can go ahead and paste in, there we go, it's a little bit tricky with touch, paste in all of my files, and those will come in, and Defender is actually looking at those and making sure there are no threats going to the device because the device is fully managed. And now I've got everything running on my local Android device if I do want to take it offline or do any of that thing, any of those types of work on the device. Now if I go to my Windows device, because it's not managed, first I've got to be able to connect to the same environment. So I'll go ahead and do that here. And now once I connect to it, basically I'm in more or less the same area, but because I can't reach the hard drive or the SSD of the phone, I only see the C drive. That means I don't even need to try to go to the confidential folder and move my files over, because I don't know if this device is patched, it's not managed, it's my personal device. I can't move anything to the local hard drive. And that's really why a lot of banks, financial services companies, et cetera, use this as a real security platform using desktop virtualization, cloud PCs, Windows 365, to help get that separation between your personal device and your managed cloud PC. Okay, so now we've seen how this works on this device. Now, Anybody in the audience have some Windows 10 machines that they're still managing? Just a couple? Most people on Windows 11, that's good. But if you do have some, I know it's very rare, we actually do extended security updates for the cloud PCs, as well as the devices that access the cloud PCs as you migrate onto Windows 11. So you have the ability then to be able to basically do your migration, something that I spent a lot of my career doing, getting to Windows 11 on your pace because you've got extended security updates in that case. So something else, as I mentioned, you want to be able to continuously validate and verify. So Microsoft Tech Community, the way that we've implemented it is you have to re-authenticate every time you log in with your Microsoft credentials in our case. So I'm going to go ahead and show what that looks like here, because I want to show a couple of things. One, cross-device passkey, and two, that I can use a FIDO2 security key through USB that's connecting all the way to Central Washington to be able to authenticate me in. So here I'm going to go ahead and choose another device. And you can see I've got cross-device passkey already configured here for my Pixel devices. And I'll use the security key, and I'll go ahead and enter my passcode. And then I can touch the security key here, and that's going to log me in. Now, this is smart enough to know that I've already got a profile in Edge that's already running with my credentials logged in. So it's going to switch me over into the tech community, and there I'm logged into the tech community, which you should all be members of, by the way. It's a great place to get information. All right, so now I've shown how I can be not only more attack surface hardened, I can also use the device on board to be able to do continuous validation. But what happens when something bad happens? What happens when there's like a disaster to recover from? So you can patch for a lot of things, a lot of vulnerabilities, a lot of things, but you can't always patch for bad user mistakes or bad user actions. My old manager used to say, you can't patch stupid. That's not my words, but that's what they said. So let's go ahead and test this out. So here, I'm going to go into my device again. And even though I'm feeling lucky on my corporate devices, I'm not feeling as lucky in terms of deleting a bunch of stuff on the hard drive on my other device. I'll go to the other domain here, and I can get to different domains, by the way, with the app. And so I'm going to connect to another cloud PC environment. In this case, it's got a couple of files that are important on the desktop, but it wouldn't be fun to delete those because those are being backed up through OneDrive. So I could restore those through OneDrive. But known folder move doesn't actually back up anything in the downloads folder. You guys all know this because you're all Microsoft 365 professionals. So if I go into the downloads folder, I'm going to do the dumbest thing I can do, which is take the the shift key, select all of these files, and I'll go ahead and look at all of my different contracts. I'm going to select them all, and you'll see that when I go to delete these files, it's going to say it's going to permanently delete the files. And you can look at the recycle bin, because the recycle bin is going to show there's nothing in there. They're gone. So how do I get these files back? Now I've permanently deleted them. This could be ransomware. This could be a bad driver, et cetera. So what I'm going to do is go into Intune, and I happen to be an Intune admin with this account as well. New Intune icon, by the way. Last week we announced that. All right, so now I'm in Intune. Now I got to find my recovery point, my restore point. So now I can basically go from Intune, and this is where you manage all of your Windows 365 devices, all of the security settings, things like the ability to do USB and pass-through in terms of your clipboard. So I'll go into Windows 365, and now I can go into all cloud PCs, and I'll look at the one that looks more or less like my name. There we go. And from there, I've basically got the ability to do a bunch of kind of quick actions on top. I'm going to use the restore action. And now you'll see here I've got a lot of restore points. In fact, the first 10 are every 4 hours it's creating a restore point. Then every week it creates another one. So let's go ahead and do a restore. And so I commit to the restore, and that's basically going to restore me back to try to get my files back that I just permanently deleted. All right, so this process, by the way, normally takes somewhere in the neighborhood of, let's say, 10 to 15 minutes. But let's see if that actually is going to come back faster. I've got some strings I can pull being part of mechanics and knowing Scott Manchester, who actually built the team here. So let's try it out and see if we can get those files back. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and connect to my cloud PC after it's done the recovery, the restore. And once I'm back in, it takes a little bit longer on the first start again after you've done a recovery or restore. And you'll see that all of my files are back. Everything's back in the downloads directory. And I've got everything restored back. OK, but I want to show you one last thing, though. Because I have a camera running here in Teams, and a lot of people are kind of wondering, well, is this something I can use every single day? And you might be wondering, why is there a camera on stage with me? So let's go ahead and I'll switch over to our camera here on stage. I'll go ahead and switch over to the camera. We can wave. We have a visual? There we go. So now I've got basically a camera going through. This is going to Central Washington and back round tripping. Wave, go ahead. There's no latency. This is all AV redirect working in real time. And if you're staying here in Vegas and looking at the Wi-Fi connection speeds, because I'm in the cloud, connected to the cloud, I can get 2 to 3 gigabits down and sometimes up to 2 gigabits up speed because I'm doing that from the cloud. I do a lot of video work. This is amazing for stuff like that. So that was the last thing I wanted to show you. But you can see that with Windows 365, you basically have everything you need in terms of being able to harden the attack surface, continue to operate securely, have all of the validation in place for security, for continuous validation, and also being able to recover from disaster when it strikes with amazing performance for things like your Teams calls, even multimedia streaming. So with that, I'm going to hand the stage back over to Vasu, who's going to end the session.
Thank you, Jeremy. We have all these rock stars. Well, we love Windows. I hope you got an idea of across all our portfolio, from Windows through Microsoft 365's native protections, and of course our advanced security portfolio, which is right here behind me. We are committed to protecting you every single day, 24/7, comprehensively across your orgs. Now that's all good, but the best part about this is we get to do it with you. We get to do it with our community, because security, after all, is a team sport, and we are honored to have 15,000 partners in our journey, co-creating with us as we are advancing the security. And what better way is to showcase what that means than having someone who's been in this journey with us. So with that, it's my absolute privilege and honor to invite Dan Mellen from EY. He's the Global Security CTO and has been in our journey with us from the get-go. He leads EY's portfolio. He is at the frontier of innovation, and he's an absolute fantastic human being and partner. So Dan, welcome. And we are matching as well. Thank you so much for being here. Okay, Dan, so I thought we'll just get started right off the bat talking about team sport. You know, partnerships are really critical in general for innovation, but in particular for security. Because as the old African proverb goes, if you want to go fast, go alone, but if you want to go further, go together. And security is all about going further. It would be great to hear from you, like, why is partnership so important in cybersecurity?
Yeah, it's a great question, Vasu. I mean, partnerships are critical. When I think about the best way to share this, I think about a joint client of ours. So we have a client in the power and utilities industry, and typically EY will bring sort of the business lens to the situation. Microsoft provides the technology, the software, the security. Taking a look at a value chain for that particular power and utilities client. It's called meter to cash. And so within that value chain, there's a number of different technology solutions, there's a number of different processes, there's a number of different people involved. And so what we do is take a look at that, look at where the technology intersection points are, and where does Microsoft security come in and cover those things. And so what we did is we took that, implemented it for a client, but not only for that one client, we templatized it. And so it was patterned, it was referenced architectured, it was blueprinted, whatever you want to call it. And then we took that to 25 other power and utility clients. So really the partnership between EY, Microsoft, and that first client really uplifted the overall security posture for that entire value chain for an entire industry. So it's super powerful.
That's awesome. And I also love that as you worked with this customer and many others, Dan, you have been a big believer in the power of end-to-end. And you know, at Microsoft, we said you've got to protect end-to-end. So it would be great to hear from you, like, what does end-to-end protection mean for you and for EY, and why does it matter in our world today?
Yeah, we talk about this all the time, right? You can't do end-to-end unless you start at the beginning. And so really one of the things I feel like is constantly overlooked in rapid development of AI solutions is threat modeling. And so threat modeling gives you visibility into system boundaries, into actual technology into the data flow, into APIs and interfaces and integrations. It really gives you the inventory of what you're dealing with. That allows you to look at your solution from a security standpoint and say, where are the places where we could make this more resilient, more robust, a better user experience? So that threat modeling gives you an inventory, but it also gives you context. And that context is super important because I'm sure nobody in this room wants to build $1 million security architecture to protect an AI solution that has a $25,000 impact on the business, right?
Yeah. No, I love that. And, you know, we are really grateful, Dan. We're grateful to you and Eva, like at Ignite and every other milestone we've had, like showcasing your innovation and just being there with us, protecting our customers is incredible. And also like your innovative leadership in AI. I mean, we talked a lot about security for AI and AI for security. I know you're a big believer that security is a catalyst for the AI innovation. Would be great to hear your thoughts on that, on how you think about both AI advancing security and security advancing AI.
Yeah, so we've been on a journey. The way I would categorize it is you've got data and cloud over here, you've got some sort of AI-based outcome over here, and you've got security in the middle as a flywheel. And so really there's this empowering or acceleration process that happens when you're leveraging security properly. If I think back to early days in my career, right, we were in the infrastructure and network revolution, and we were putting egress firewalls and slapping AV on everything and just saying we were good, right?
Yeah.
Then we spent the last decade and a half in the cloud transformation space. And we actually improved from a cyber standpoint. All the practitioners and leaders in here, props, because we came up with things like DevSecOps. And we're integrating security into both development processes and people, as well as operational processes and folks. And really, it lowered the friction. It allowed us to move faster. And now I think we've got an opportunity. We talk about security by design all the time. This really is the point in time where we can capitalize on that. We've got an opportunity for as fast as AI is moving to balance both that speed and protection. And so I think there's a wonderful synergy there that now is the time to do it.
Now is the time to do it. Well, Dan, thank you so much, and we couldn't think of anyone better to do it with now. So we're grateful and honored to have you, and I look forward to a great journey with you and a great future with you. Thank you. All right, well, we're at the close here. So thank you again so much, everyone, for being here, for being our community. There are exciting sessions lined up for you. Let's take AI to the next level, and let's start with security. Thank you very much.